Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Zeracol Hakathos, bringing another video with Demonosophy and Beyond. Today, I'm doing the first part of my updated Occult Library collection. A couple years back, I think in 2020 or 2021, somebody asked me about my Occult Library and what I had. I did it and I had a little bit of fun because it's like mini reviews for the books. So I want to do that again because my library has a tendency to change. I may sell books and then purchase new books. And I really want to inspire people to read. There may be something that people are interested in. So what I'll do is I'll just go through my books and give small details about them. I have 2 bookcases full of books. So it's actually a lot to do. But let's get started. So the first book that I have here is How to Summon Demons by the Aeonis group, which is the Hindu group that I am a part of, that believe that everything is an expression of Brahman. This was my introduction to them, actually. And this book is available on Amazon. All right. Looks like that. These yantras and talas within are symbols, almost like sigils. You write them down, and they are basically keys to other dimensions to contact and absorb the energy of different entities. In this case, demons. Okay, so to be honest, I've only tried the first. What was it, Yantra? And it works. Okay. But to be honest, I'm more of a mudra guy. I like to use the hand signals and the hand signs. But I keep this on the hand for when I do feel like I'm in the mood in order to use these. Keeping in line with the Hinduism, Ferocious. All right, this is the tantric manual on the Satamatrika, which is like 7, I believe it's 7 mothers. And these are Hindu deities that are demonic because they basically fought a war against demons and ended up eating the demons. And basically you are what you eat. So they became demonic. It's an awesome book. It goes through the details of the 7 mothers, what they're like, what they help to do, how to contact them. Very well written book. Next in line, the Chicken Kabbalah. I don't really have much to say because I'm not really too deep into this. I like the Qliphothic work. I want to do the Kabbalistic work to climb the other tree. However, I personally feel like it's just this is kind of hard for me because like some things don't resonate with me, but I want to be a completionist. Like they say the Qliphothic tree is the dark side. So, I want to find balance and connect with the light as well. So, but I have a tendency to lean towards the dark more, and enjoy it. What can I say? Next book, The Black Book of Belial by Benco. Okay. There must be something about black books and Belial, because I also have another black book that is dedicated to Belial. I'm currently working through this book. I'm actually having a lot of fun with this book, and I plan on doing an in-depth review of this book. It's cool because you get to work with Belial. There's also, so far, some work that you get to do with Hecate. So I don't know if this author studied Mark Allen Smith's work, but I still have fun with it. Okay. And I enjoy the work through this book. This book is beginner friendly in the sense that the language is very easy to understand. So, bought that on Amazon. The Way to Godhood. Okay, this is by R. Swinburne Clymer. This is a text that was actually written by the Church of Illuminati. Which is funny because a lot of people make Illuminati seem kind of evil. And like, I don't really know what's going on with these people. But anybody who is willing to release a text that helps the common man to achieve their godhood, or at least get into the mind state, helping them reaching out for their godhood, I don't think that's an evil thing. I read probably like a third of this book. It's interesting. It's a slow go since I've got multiple reading projects, but it's very interesting, and I will probably review this as well, more in depth. Next book, Sefer Yerach Ruachat by G. de Laval. G. de Laval is a very cool author. He sent me a copy of this book because I reviewed one of its predecessors. I've actually had a few books by G. de Laval, but I don't currently have them. This one is a little bit more complex, and even the one before it that I did do an in-depth review, I was on 1,000 with my concentration. Like, I must have been like possessed and inspired to do what I did with the book that I reviewed, because this one right here is very, very difficult for me to kind of understand and swallow. I'll admit it. So that may take some time before I come to a comprehension of it to the point where I can explain it. So yeah, don't look for a review for that book for quite some time. Next one is The Black Book of Bello. Another black book. Like I said, very good book. Already did a review. Can't go into detail about it, but you know, the authors of this book, the Baron and Baroness, awesome people. They've got a very good collection of books. They don't regurgitate the usual stuff. They definitely have a unique way of approaching magic. And they are also very informed. I've read quite a few of their books, which I've already mentioned in the review of this book, and I know that they know their stuff because, like, I've seen bits and pieces of, like, through my experiences, my reading, I've seen a lot of that reflected. So I know that they know what they're talking about. Great book. The next one is the Black Magic Evocation of the Shim Mephorus. I already reviewed that. Great book. Definitely something that I'm going to keep in my library. I haven't contacted all of the 72. And being as how that I am currently working with angels, I might get back into that. Alright, so you got Book of the Witch Moon, Chaos, Vampiric, and Luciferian Sorcery by Michael Ford. Okay. Michael Ford is one of those authors that is good for inspiring ideas, in my personal opinion, but I'm not really interested in the magic within the books. Okay, so I like the read, but I have my own style of things, and like sometimes there are things I want to try out, and sometimes it's just kind of like there are things I don't really feel. So I read it, I keep it on hand for information, and that's basically it. Angels and Archangels by Damien Echols. Mad respect for Damien Echols. Very in-depth. He's very knowledgeable about magic in his own way. When I was reading this, I found that there's a lot of truth about angels, and this is a very unique approach. It includes the zodiac, angels attached to the zodiac, angels attached to planets, angels attached to tarot. And it goes on to talk about the difference, and it's not a fluffy approach to angels. Not this idea of, they're love and light and hugs and kisses and stuff like that. Like, it's a realistic look at the angels and archangels. So I appreciate that. Next, we got Healing with Pressure Point Therapy. Now, this isn't exactly magic. This is actually science. I guess some people would call it mystic, but I feel like along with, the demonosophy stuff that I do, it's also good to learn about healing, to learn about the body and how it works in order to keep it working as efficiently as possible, as well as like the mind, so that you can do your work more efficiently. And by work, I mean the magic. So this works. Very good system to learn when it comes to healing. You don't need needles because the pressure point therapy is kind of like acupuncture, except you just press down on the meridians in your body to heal yourself instead of puncturing them with needles. All right, the next we have is The Devil's Dozen, 13 Craft Rites of the Old One. I've done a couple of rituals in this, which had interesting effects. I've done I think like maybe 2 videos that covered the rituals that I did. I don't really have too much of an opinion on the book. I mean, the stuff works, but it's not something where it's like, oh, I have to. I didn't feel like in a hurry to kind of get this book done. Just kind of neutral about it. The Alchemist. I've already talked about this on my my other library video, my Occult Library video. This is supposedly a fiction story, but it speaks a lot about manifestation, and if you actually read the story, it's a very good story that will help you get into the mindset of getting the things that you want out of the universe by changing your mindset. So that's why I consider this to be a part of my occult library. La Santa Muerte. Alright, this was by Thomas Prower. I've already done a review of this book. This was my introduction to Santa Muerte. Worked very well. Went in depth about the history, about who can work with Santa Muerte, why she works with basically everybody, what the mythology was, how to connect with her using candles, what the candles, there's a whole system here, which is complete, and very good book, very good author. The first time I got that book was from Barnes & Noble, actually. And I don't like shopping for magic books in Barnes & Noble because a lot of the information there is watered down. And it's all mainstream. And most of it is just crap that is designed to teach you magic, to get mundane things, to keep you anchored to this world. Therefore, I don't really consider that good magic. But that book I could not pass up. Like, I kept passing by it and it just kept calling to me. So bought it, worked through it. It worked. Santa Muerte is a doozy. But when you make friends with her, like she's very passionate about protecting you and breaking you down in ways that help you to build up stronger. Next book is The Abyss by Leo Holmes. Already reviewed it. Very good book. Helped me get through my own abyssal journey. So I do recommend this book to anybody who is planning on going through the abyss. Even if you have gone through the abyss, it's a good book to help you kind of understand your journey better. Next book, Way of Demons by Simon Bastian. Okay, this is a Taoist look on books, perspective. I mean, on look on books. This is a Taoist perspective on demons. I read through it. It's very interesting. This comes from a more, how do I say? It was interesting to learn about the different spirits that they have in this culture and how they're very different from the Western spirits that we have. But this was from a perspective of more like neutral perspective. And what is that flashing light? Oh, that's weird. And from a magical perspective, it didn't really have anything that called to me, but the information was still good. Um, there are like exorcism techniques in here. Uh, I don't know that there are ways to like contact some of these spirits because not all of them are listed as evil. Like they just are. Um, I've only gone through like maybe half this book, but it also teaches you a couple of cool Taoist hand signs for activating energy. I think they have a couple for helping with exorcism. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, I really like mudras. Um, so like hand signs in order to work magic. Um, I like that because it's more efficient where you don't have to get candles. You don't have to set up a lot of things. It's just like if you understand the hand signals in order to tap into a certain energy, you just do that. And you can do it anywhere. And, you know, people who aren't all about what you're doing, like, it can be discreet. So anything that teaches about, you know, mudras, I don't know what the Taoists call their hand, you know, their hand signs. Uh, I really dig that kind of magic. See, next one, Ars Aeternum. I believe I went through this. This is one of the books in a series that works with the Goetic spirits. This one is about immortality and how to achieve it. But this is about working for the immortality of the soul and focusing on that and your relationship with the Goetic spirits in order to strengthen your soul and basically, I don't know, from this perspective, become a VIP in hell. Uh, next one is by the same author. It also works with the Goetic spirits, but this is Ars Mortem. This is on necromancy. Also another very good book. I have a few by this author that cover different subjects. Like I said, it's very easy to read. I like the way the author presents the information, and it breaks down the Goetic spirits in category that cover this subject, pertain to the subject, and then it tells you a little bit about that particular spirit, whether they are good for beginners or whether they're a little bit more complicated to work with. And it tells you how to approach them, lists the different herbs, the different times of the year, even the time of the day. It goes into like all the elements that you need in order to contact these spirits. Next, we have The Last Astral Projection Book You'll Ever Need. Just purchased this on Amazon. Just started reading through it. I kind of know how to astral travel. Oh, that's where my sigil's at. Why did I use that? Oh, my goodness. I don't know what's going on. Okay. So, yeah. The techniques in here, I recognize one of the techniques, but there are other techniques. I'm currently working on trying to strengthen my ability to astral travel, even though I know I can do it. I used to be better at it years ago. So that was why I purchased this book off Amazon. Next book is the Book of Watchers by Ars Aurora. I've looked through some of this book. To be honest, it has some information that is interesting, but I have my own system of working with the Watchers. Here it talks about connecting to Yahweh, which I'm not really interested in doing. It talks about the Anunnaki, which is interesting, and I suppose it links them to the Watcher Angels. And it gives you different meditations, I believe, to connect with the entities within, as well as different rituals. This is cool because this is not some kind of fluffy angel book. Okay, this is more of a realistic approach to angels, and gives you a more realistic idea of who the angels are. Next is another Michael Ford book, Fallen Angels. This covers the Watchers and talks about the Nephilim. And like I said, good for information, just like the other Watcher book, like I used to have for information. But I have my own system. Okay, so like I read through the book. I like the book for the information that it has. Don't work through the magic. I mean, I'm not telling you not to work through the magic in the book. I'm saying I didn't work through the magic in the book. Next book is Gateways Through Light and Shadow. I'm slowly working through this book. I do like this book, what I've read of it. I've used some of the techniques in order to channel entities, and you've been privy to it because I've channeled Tiamat, and I've also channeled Takate through one of my students, and I use the technique out of here to inspire me. So that's pretty cool. This is another book covering contacting angels. The author studied a lot of the works of John Dee, and that is where this book came from, where I believe he tried to replicate the work of John Dee. Very good book. Very good book. And this is something that I should keep on hand since I am working with angels currently. So. You'll have to excuse me. I'm a little congested. I guess my allergies are kicking in. Whatever. Okay. Next book. Glimpses of the Left-Hand Path. This is one of the books that introduced me to what demonosophy was. Keep it around. I mean, a lot of the essays in here really don't mean much to me, except for the one on demonosophy. So I just keep it around for information. Sometimes when I have to talk about demonosophy, I use this book as a reference. So it has its purpose. Ah, crap. Okay, I'll get it later. Anyway, Luciferian Witchcraft by Michael Ford. Like I said, nice information to go over. I think this was the book that introduced me to Ahriman, and inspired me to go get more information about him and contact him. So, next is the Ars Infernum. This is a book on all 72 of the Goetic spirits. There are 2 to 3 spells for each spirit, and this is by the same author as the Ars Aeternum as well as Ars Mortem. The author is Dante Valentine, and this is a general book of working with the Goetic spirits. Okay. It is designed for beginners. It is very informative and a very good book to have in your library. Next, by the same author, is Ars Sanguinum. And this covers the 72 Goetic spirits that, not all 72, but the Goetic spirits that can help with blood magic. Possibly, I think also vampiric magic as well. So, very good author, very good book. Something to keep in your library if you ever find it. Violet Throne. Man, I struggled through this book because it's boring. Like, it's a very dry read. Like, I want to be into it. You know, all this stuff is about how you have this secret society that's been existing throughout history, and it's like, yeah, maybe you're not, but it's just like, you know, like we're constantly hiding in the shadows, and we're watching, and that's all good and well. So are others, you know. And then it talks about the different roles that different people have in here. It's like, well, they may or may not, you know, be this way and work this way. And it's just kind of like, okay, well, if these people don't necessarily show definite signs, then what's the use of mentioning them at all? You know, like, oh, they could be this way if they fit into this position, but not necessarily. Okay, like, great. That explains a lot. This is one of the books where I feel like not only does it just go way too deep into trying, it tries too hard to be mysterious, you know. And then on top of that, it's like, okay, we're going to explain stuff, but there's going to be hidden information, and I kind of get it, but like, it still annoys me a lot because it's like, if you're going to teach somebody, just teach somebody. You know what I'm saying? The information, if it's not meant for a person, it's not going to resonate with the person. And that's how I feel about this. So, like, this is a big book of fluff, like, to me. And I know that there are a lot of people who respect this book and stuff like that, and that's great. That's your opinion, but, you know, like, this book bores me to death. Maybe one day I'll get through it. Like, maybe I'm a third through it by now, but, you know, I only picked this up when I've got nothing else going on for me. Next book is Rod and Ring by Samuel David. This is an actual interesting book because this covers the Anunnaki. it's a whole system on how to contact them. I've used it to contact Inanna and also Enki was following behind her. So I got to meet those two. I did not finish the book. I don't really know how I feel about the Anunnaki. So I know that Inanna is a face of Lilith. So it doesn't really surprise me that I was able to contact her. And I don't know. It's just a nice book. You know, it's a well written book from what I've read. And maybe one day I'll get in the mood to contact them. But that pantheon of spirits don't really call to me right now. All right, next is the Haitian Voodoo Handbook. I believe it is a very good book because it goes into the history of Haitian Voodoo, why it is the way it is. It breaks down the different categories of Loa and how to kind of like contact them and what to give and what the reason why they are here working with mankind. So basically, I believe in this book, it explains that God supposedly made the earth and all the stuff and basically created the Loa as like middle people where like they were to interact with mankind and God basically didn't want to have anything to do with mankind. So that's why he created the Loa. Like, okay, like you want to deal with divinity, deal with this class of spirits. Good stuff. Unfortunately, I tried to get into it. Voodoo doesn't really seem to be my thing. I've talked to Papa Legba a few times. But aside from that, like I don't really resonate with voodoo. Book on sacred herbs. Always good to have a book that explains the magical as well as the practical. Well, magic can be practical. The magical and medical uses of different plants. Okay. Medicinal, not medical, medicinal. It's always good to have books like that on hand. Here I have Herbal Medicine. I believe I bought this at a thrift store. This is kind of older and it has more ways of homeopathic ways of staying well. And very good book. Yeah, to have on hand for maybe when you get sick or ensuring that you don't get sick. The last book that I'm going to introduce into this video is a favorite among people who work with Hecate. And this is the Hecateon. Ooh, yeah. Like, this book is a pain in the ass trying to get a hold of. I paid like $500 for this book, but I've seen it go for like thousands of dollars. And this is second edition. Okay, this isn't even first edition. And every time this book goes on for sale by the publisher, like it sells out quick. So, very well written. The author is pretty cool. This is more like a devotional form of working with Hecate. The exercises in the book are pretty awesome. I really love working with the Oracle Stones, where you can ask questions and get answers from Hecate. I'm getting the tingles. Sounds like, I mean, it feels like, I guess she's here. It's just a great book to go through, to work through. It's one of those books that I feel like is from my standpoint more of an emotional journey, instead of like an academic or scientific journey. And I say that because I've already connected with Hecate using Mark Allen Smith's system. So when I got my hands on this, I already knew who Hecate was. I had an idea and I already had an established relationship. So this book was to deepen my relationship with Hecate, and just show my love for her, and have a different approach than what I was used to with Mark Allen Smith's system. A lot of people who work with Mark Allen Smith's books, as well as have this, kind of say this is a more user-friendly approach. Still dark, but I guess not as much doom and gloom, So, yeah, very good book. Very good book to have on hand. Beautiful book. And I haven't finished working through the whole thing, but it's a great read. I've read through most of it. I've worked through maybe a third of it, and I do eventually plan on returning to it. But there's just a lot going on with me. Like, a lot of projects, a lot of personal work, a lot of working on my own personal systems. And like when you're working on your own personal systems, it's kind of it gets harder to get into somebody else's system of magic, unless you really, really are into, like, you really like that person and you're into their style because it resonates with your style. So it's more like, unless it's a book that I'm reviewing, that I seek to review, I am more likely to just read through it and then maybe put it on the back burner and return to it after I'm done formulating my own system, pertaining to whatever I'm working with at that moment. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is part 1 of my occult library that has been updated for 2022. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to drop a second part whenever I get a chance to pull out all my other books from my other bookshelf. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope maybe somebody was inspired to purchase one of these books so that they can inform themselves about magic and get to doing it and progress on their path. So, yeah. All right, guys, have a good day. Keep working the magic. Keep informing yourself, educating yourself, because I believe that is the most important thing to do. Just to let you guys know, I do offer mentorship. If you go to the About page in my channel, it will show you the links. The link to the digital copy of The Grimoire of Damnation, which is my book. And then I also offer Reiki healing, spiritual counseling, and like I said, mentorship. So all those links are in the About section of my channel. If you're interested in that, please feel free to check it out. Other than that, have a good day. I don't know. I'll keep working through stuff and keep informing you about it. So, deuces.